Okay, the infamous video, 1 year, no semen retention. People like that video too, you know. And then the people that make videos, they capitalize on that. They're like, okay, if I make this video, oh, I'm going to blow up then. What does it mean, blow up, though? Like, what does it mean? You're going to get popular, you're going to get a lot of money, and then that's going to do what? See? We get the satisfaction from inside, not... Doesn't matter if all 8 billion people on the planet revered us. It'd get boring. You know, when I went to Brazil, I think I mentioned, I was like a movie star. Same as India. When I went to India, I was in my early 20s. I go to these remote spots where like no foreigners are. Man, I got more attention actually than a movie star. Than one of these Hollywood movie stars, you know, in America. I got more attention than them, I feel, in these other countries when I went there. I mean, it was just insane, man. And you know what? It made me insane too. It made me so restless. It was just like, oh my God, like I can't handle this. It made me so, I just couldn't sleep at night. So that's not the goal, right? To be popular and get all this attention. I had a teacher once tell me, you know, if you're getting too much attention from the collective, you got to look at yourself. You might be doing something wrong. That reminds me, I'm going to make a video on if you're doing semen retention and you're not getting a lot of female attraction and attention, that might be good. That's a kind of a backwards video, but it's true. I'm going to make that. Okay, 1 year semen retention. I listed 7 things. I usually just speak. I mean, I'm still speaking spontaneous, but I want to refer to the list because I don't want to miss nothing, you know. All right, adrenal glands in the nervous system, in the brain. You see, this is a big deal. This is what I needed, particularly if somebody has any neurological weaknesses or nervous system disorders. You need power for your nerves. You're not going to get that from medication or operations. That stuff makes your nervous system even weaker, right? Because it becomes toxic at a certain point because it's not your body doesn't. It's not natural. It's like if you throw a Coke can out here in the jungle, deep in the jungle. If I come here a year later, it's probably still going to be here. But if I throw a coconut out here, the ground's going to absorb it. Same thing. If we take true medicine from like the jungle or something, the body can use that. That's actual medicine. But when we're taking things that have been made in a lab, it can hurt the body. It just becomes toxic at a certain point. It just does, you know, because I've been there. I've done it. In my teens and 20s, like I had to take something because I was messed up. So that's the thing. God puts that synthetic stuff here also to help us. See, he works on all levels. So if some of us, like, we just needed that or need it. And then later, just you keep going in your spiritual practice and your journey, and you may find you can transcend that. So everything's good. Everything. So your nervous system and adrenal glands, they start to get powered back up. Now you might got to go through a period though where you get really kind of, you know, you're just kind of shot out for a while. You don't have any energy when you stop this because you get put back to ground zero. It's like when we were acting out sexually and getting all these hits from, you know, what we do, from porn and sexual fantasies and getting attention from girls. Those are dopamine hits. We get dopamine release and we get high for a little bit. That kickstarts the nervous system in the adrenal glands, but because it's not natural, it's almost like the synthetic lab-made medication. I like to call it chemistry. I can't really call it. Medication means there's no really side effects. So when we act out and do these little dopamine hit behaviors that we do, that overstimulates the nervous system, and we start doing the work for our body that our body should be doing itself. So the body gets weaker. Nervous system and adrenal glands, they're not using their own inner power from the body to get charged up. They stop working. They're like, okay, he's going to give me a dopamine hit. I'll just let that charge me up. So then we cut all that, and the nervous system and adrenal glands are like, well, where's our energy? So then it's like they got to relearn. It's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. This organism should be powering me up. So that can take a little bit. You got to go through that period. I touched on that before, but it's an important thing that I feel I should keep I should keep saying and reminding, because the mind can, when we start feeling bad, the mind uses that as bait. It's like, I know what can help you. You know what can help you. Go back out. You're missing out, man. You miss everybody else getting attention, and they're going out clubbing and getting all this play, and you're just sitting here like, oh, I'm doing semen retention. So this isn't for everybody. This is for the this is for the chosen ones. Just the more evolved souls, you know. We've done this enough already. We're tired of it. So something wants to experience our true self. You don't want to waste your life, is what happens. We're not here this long. You realize this? Our whole life can go by so fast, man. All right. The other thing, the obsessive compulsive urge to do this nonsense, that finally starts to die down. This is what makes it hard. That's why people relapse. Because it's like that energy, because it came from habit of energizing this stuff for years and decades, it's just so strong. When the urge comes, like, go look at porn, and it's like, okay, I have to do it. It's just so strong. Or I'm out in the street and a girl walks by and she's giving me a little attention. I just have to flirt back, you know, because it's the tendency to do that so strong. We're not yet grounded in our true stable self. When you're grounded in your true stable self, even if thoughts come like that, you just kind of brush them away. You don't give attention to it. Your attention's already on something deeper. See, this deeper thing has to replace these more mundane, earthly, sensual tendencies that we have. And then things become easy. And that's what happens when we go long enough. So that obsessive compulsive tendency to act out and to do things that are self-sabotaging, that finally starts to go down. It's like, oh, good, finally I can breathe now. I'm chill. I'm not taken over by these strong energetic charges inside that used to make me do things I didn't want to do. Huge benefit, isn't it? You're into also mentally and emotionally, you're more stable. See, when we're losing our energy and getting these dopamine hits all the time, it makes us weak mentally and emotionally. Like a thought comes, we just act on it. There's like no space or power to discern and say, like, wait a minute, that's a stupid thought. I'm not going to do that. That's just going to take my energy away. You have this power, and you're not so weak-willed, you know. We have the intestinal fortitude to do what intuition is telling us. Lack of power, see, this is the problem. A lot of us, we know better. Intellectually, we know what we should do, but we don't have the power. We need power. Semen retention will give you energy and power if you go long enough, but you got to go through it. And how long does it take? It depends. Depends how long you've been doing it and how long, how intense, how much of a dopamine addict you were. You see? It may take longer than a year. So what? You just keep going. Keep going. And then if you come back again and you need another body, that's gonna carry over. That's gonna carry over to the next body you have. You're not gonna be such a slave to the vagina or sexual tendencies. Remember, I said somewhere in the video, the only thing we take with us when we leave, the most important thing that we can cultivate while we're on this planet, and that we take with us when we leave, is the growth in consciousness. You see, the growth in character. We take that with us. We don't take the car with us, or the clothes, or the girls. Good. I'm glad we don't take that stuff with us. Your intuition becomes more sharp. This is key. Basically, two things guide us: mind and intuition. Intuition is, let's say, in the heart. We start to get directed what to do, what not to do, just via some inner vibration, we get an intuitive thought or some inner feeling, like, yeah, go do this. No, don't do that. It's not for you. And we don't know why. You don't need to say, well, why shouldn't I do that? No, you come to rely and trust on this inner feeling. You know this inner feeling never lies. The mind, people who are intellectual, they're so boring for me. They just use this logical, deductive process for everything, pros and cons. You know how limited that is? Well, you won't know unless you're in touch with intuition. It's just so limited. The mind cannot even begin to see the full spectrum picture of all the factors and variables and cofactors and interrelations between everything. How's it going to see all that? That's why science is changing their mind all the time. Intuition sees all that. So of course, we can't ask the intuition to explain all this. It's beyond the mind. It can't explain it. Intuition's like, just chill, just do what I'm telling you to do. And then you start to be like, oh yeah, my bad. And you just do it. You're glad you don't know why. It's fun. It's like you got this magical, gauge that's just guiding you, And things happen, like maybe you had plans to do something, you were really ready to go do it, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, you get a tooth infection. Now you got to cancel your plans. If you're living via intuition, something says immediately, this is a good thing. Imagine that. Don't you want to get to that state where something happens with that appears to be bad, and automatically you're aware of that voice that says, no, there's something good here. Otherwise it wouldn't happen. And it's not a positive affirmation. It's real. It comes with energy. You're not just affirming something. Oh yeah, it's good. No. If something comes, like, is good. It tells you vibrationally. This is what happens, see? Because when we're doing semen retention long enough, all these obstructions, this unconsciousness, this dross on the mind and everything, that starts to burn up. So what's left? What's left is this power that we really are. See, we all have this power, but it gets eclipsed and blocked and covered up with our nonsense that we do. But we got to do it for a while. Same time, we got to do it to taste it, so we know and can appreciate and be grateful for when we come into this fuller version of ourselves. So it's all good, like I keep trying to say. The other thing, the libido. I got to make a video maybe on, because the guys start getting worried. They get on semen retention and they're like, man, my libido went down. Like, I don't, what's going to happen? Am I asexual now? Like, I don't even want to have sex. Yeah, it's temporary. The body shut that down so that it can rebuild itself for a little while. How's it going to rebuild itself? Aren't you glad? Don't you want a little break? Or you just want to be just full on sex mind all the time? How are you going to, that creates too much tension. The body, the universe, the body's doing you a favor. It's chilling you for a little bit, So that's what's happening. That will come back, I promise you, and it comes back strong. But here's the thing, it comes back strong, but it's stable. You're no longer like, you don't, I'll say it like this, you can have sex or not have sex. This is the best point to get to, isn't it? Don't you want balance? Don't you want to be able to take it or leave it? You could be with a girl, it could look like you could be making out, it could look like maybe you're going to have sex, but then maybe the feeling changes, or she has to go do something important, and you're like, okay, cool, no problem. You enjoyed the physical intimacy with just the kissing and everything. You don't need to go all the way. Now, when we're stuck in this dopamine addiction, sex addiction, it's like, that's how girls get date raped, The guy is like, no, we got to finish this. So you won't be like that. You'll have control, And it's not a control that you're trying to do, like I got to control. No, it's very effortless and natural. Things got to be effortless and natural. That's organic. This is what will happen. Okay, to everybody at some point in some life, but we're talking this life. If you're vibing with these videos that I'm making right now, you can be free in this life. There's no way. There's no way, because if you resonate with what I'm saying, this means you already know this, and this means that you're already, like, this is ripe in you. Somebody that's not ready for this, number one, they wouldn't even find this video, and number two, they'd shut it off as soon as they saw it. So if you're still here watching this and you're getting, if this is like food for you, you can be free this life. 100%, I'll sign it. The other thing, sex organ, your sex organ's going to have more energy. You're going to have more energy to give this woman. because you're not messing with it all the time. It starts to heal too. Now it does things on subtle levels I can't really explain, but I can tell you from experience that the woman likes it more. It's like you have a new car or motorcycle. If you're driving that thing 24 hours a day and ragging it out, okay, it's going to function a little different than if you keep it in the garage and you polish it, you take care of it, you drive it sometimes. That's going to run real smooth. I hope that was a good analogy, because that's what it is. The texture of it feels different to the woman. The energy inside it feels different. The whole feeling's different. So you're doing women a favor also if you don't do that. And don't listen to the girls that I know you won't, but I'm just saying there's some girls, they don't like this. They don't. Some girls really don't like these videos. You see, because when you're practicing semen retention, you're not going to be a slave anymore to a woman. She can't control you anymore because you got your power. I figured this out at like 21. It was like a huge revelation. And I had a sponsor, because when I went to NA, when I started that at like 15 and a half, man, he was my guide. He saved my life. Like, holy, I just really needed somebody that he understood me, right? So I just would call him with all my realizations and epiphanies. So I called him, and I was in Brazil. I called him, I was like 20, I don't know, 23 or something. I'm like, bro, I figured it out, man, because I used to have a hard time with relationships. I'd get hurt and they would leave me and I'd just feel, oh man, I'd just be, you know how it is. I'd be so attached. I'd just be all messed up. And then I realized somehow, I'm like, I told him, I said, man, if I don't ejaculate, she can't hurt me, man. You know what he said? See, I was higher than him at that point. It's funny. Sometimes, you transcend your teacher. He's like, well, what's the point of having sex then, I couldn't answer that at the time. I just couldn't articulate it, but I knew I was onto something. And then that's what drove me to India, and then I really got into studying this, and that's where all the good books are and everything. And anyway, some girls don't like this, you see. They intuitively feel, they don't know this consciously, but something intuitively feels like, wait a minute, if he's not all hell-bent on having sex, if he can take it or leave it, how am I going to control him? Where's my power? Maybe I should make a video on that. That's a good one. Yeah, maybe I should save what I'm going to say about that now. Maybe I should save that for another video. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Your perception of women is more pure. This is huge. The benefits of this is so big, man. Like, people don't know. Like, you don't know. I'm sure if you're watching the video, you have some inkling, some intuition about it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be pursuing this. Something inside's like, yeah, there must be something to this. And that's why you're watching videos and you want to believe it. The problem is a lot of these videos, the people are selling out. They're not being authentic because they're trying to get views. So they're not talking the real truth. So then you probably feel that on some level. Something's like, okay, the words he's saying sound good, but I'm not really feeling them. Because they have an agenda, they have a motive of why they're doing the videos. It's still cool that this has became more well known, this semen retention, and people are making videos on it. So I'm not knocking them, and that's a stage too. I went through that stage in my 20s when I was doing teaching yoga, in my early 30s. So I know that stage. I don't have anything now except to share. See, I'm all about. I gotta be authentic to this inner voice. See, when I share honest, and I'm not thinking about views and money and all that, when I do that, I get a nice satisfaction and inner serenity for making a video. That blows away any money. If somebody donates me $1 million, but I'm selling out, no, man. No. Give me the serenity. You keep your money. I'm gonna share from this place inside. So, what was the point? Your perception of women become really. You look at them as the beautiful beings that they are. Basically, it's not corrupted. You don't start objectifying them. This is why guys get addicted to women, because the woman's energy, I made a video about that, the healing power of feminine energy can scare men. That was the name of the video. That activates the guy somewhere, and he doesn't know how to just hold that. So you got to be able to hold that and appreciate it and let that power come in you, because it's power. It's powerful. And she also feels the power of masculine energy too. They can hold it a little better. The guys get all excited and they start objectifying them. They just want to grab them. Let's have sex, you know. And then what? Yeah, it's a stupid thing that we do for a while. We have to do it. I understand. So when we feel this power from the feminine woman, the energy come in, and we just let it be there, and then it passes, and it's that's what happens. We're grateful for that. We're like, yeah, nice one, God. You created that's a good creation, and you look at it like that. And that's how you everything. The children, especially, they have a purity and innocence, man. That's very strong and nice and healing. And this is what starts the whole pedophile movement, especially in Cambodia. That's where they all go. The men are so starving for energy that when they see these children with this pure and innocence, it just takes them over, because they're so starving. It's like, oh, energy. The ultimate consumption of that energy is when you eat. There's people that eat people, and that's why they're just totally. They're dead, and they need energy. I go off a little bit sometimes because isn't it important? Do you like when I go off? So you look at the children, you look at the teenagers, look at the adults, and you look at the old people. They all have benefits. Like each stage has something special about it. Each age, each stage, there's something special. Like the older people, there's a wisdom there. Like they've been on this planet, man, trudging for years, for decades. So something. If you're in touch with your inner self, something just respects that. Something just reveres that. You want to be nice to them. That's why in India they're more in touch with that, with this natural feeling. Something just wants to, like, man, good job. You've been here a while. And then when they're like when you're a child, the opposite. It's like they're just fresh, they're vital, they're just full-on life force, natural, don't have a lot of conditioning yet. You appreciate that, you're like, I remember that stage. So you like that, Teenager, you understand that, like, they're coming in. It's like the karma starting, the conditioning from society and in these mundane tendencies, negative tendencies are starting to come up now, and they're going to get infected with all that. And now they got to go through the grind and find themselves, and so you appreciate that too. You understand that. You remember where they're at. And in the middle age, you're like, okay, they've been there, done that, done all the nonsense. They're not getting a hit from that anymore. Now they're in the stage where they're trying to transcend. Generally speaking, there's some people, the old people are just like the teenagers. I told you in Thailand, they're running around like sex addicts. They look funny as hell. 50, 60, 70 years old. Just a girl walks by and they're just, it's like, damn, man, don't be like, I have compassion for them. I mean, that's too bad, Last benefit, most powerful benefit, the more purified we get in our being. I mentioned it in the last video. God uses the semen retention as bait to take us all the way. Our spiritual tendencies are going to wake up and be more strong to discover who we truly are beyond this body. There's some people that can't hear this right now. It's just jibber jabber, because it's like the spiritual tendencies. They're there, but they're so asleep and dormant that they're not vivified by anything. They need to be woke up at some point. When we do semen retention enough and we have a full spectrum healthy lifestyle and diet, that cleanness is going to start to wake up these spiritual tendencies. They're going to start to wake up. And then when you hear people like videos like this or others that are sharing about it, then it's going to vivify. Then it's going to, then you're going to be like, oh yeah, it's like then that that software becomes alive. Until then, it's like you haven't hit run. Is that a good analogy? You download something on the internet, it's all downloaded, but you don't hit run. So it's not really activated. So at some point, these spiritual tendencies, something grace hits run, and then they come activated, and then you're interested in the highest purpose that we're here on the planet. All right, 25 minutes. Let me know how this goes. Let me know any questions you had, and if you liked it. See you.